All right.
Sharks are not dangerous. They're inquisitive.
Oh.
We're in their environment. We shouldn't be there. They bite a diver in a wetsuit and go, that's not a seal. And they instantly spit it out, taking people diving, making their once-in-a-lifetime trip the best thing that we can make. Guiding people around these 80-year-old wrecks, going inside the wrecks, into the engine rooms.
Inside the wrecks.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it addictive?
Very, very addictive.
Why people should start diving?
It's where we came from. We're going back to where we came from. People find that they feel most at home in the water. Time seems to fly. Some of the best 45 minutes you'll get. It's a time machine for me.
Exploring.
Yeah.
So that's the major thing that drives you.
Yeah, I think I'd say so. Exploration.
Welcome to Local Voice Collective, the podcast that brings Bedford's voices together. It's your chance to discover the most exciting local projects, connect with entrepreneurs, changemakers, coaches, artists, consultants, and influential local people, and ultimately be part of a community that really supports and inspires each other. I'm your host, Andrew Gabriel. And finally, if you live or work in Bedford and have an interesting story, be my guest. I would be absolutely delighted to have you on the show. All right.
Here we go.
Have you been on the podcast before?
I have, but only virtually. So
Okay.
I did one a couple of years ago with the Big Scuba podcast, just after we moved to Greece. So we were talking about the wrecks in Greece and how the law had changed to allow more people to dive them. And before they managed to publish it, I had to send them a voice note, and I was on a plane to the Pacific going diving. So was speaking to them on Monday night, having a bit of a catch up now that we've got the dive centre. So
it's something very recent, right?
Yeah. Just from the initial podcast talking about the wrecks and then going over to the Pacific to Truck and Bikini and then coming back and then moving back to the UK from Greece, opening up a dive centre. And
yeah.
So yeah, it's
a lot of changes.
Lots of changes.
So you started out about 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, so started out around August 2015. I was looking for something to do whilst out in Cyprus. Started skydiving and I had to pull my reserve on my second jump. So we decided that probably wasn't the best sports choice for me. So instead of going up, we decided to go down. And I've never looked back.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's...
So it's not going up, it's going down instead.
Yeah, so instead of going up in an aeroplane, we're now going down under the sea.
But not staying on a surface level.
Have
you tried any other sports?
I played football when I was younger. Played a bit of cricket and stuff like that when in school, but football was my main passion. But I'm happy to give most sports a go. Bungee jumping, skydiving, paragliding, canoeing, kayaking, mountain biking, literally anything.
And what made you consider diving?
Because of the skydiving incident, I decided that I'd give scuba diving a go. So it was part of a 4-day experience package that we were doing for adventurous training. And it was 2 days skydiving, 1 day scuba diving, 1 day kayaking. And scuba diving was the thing that I found most enjoyable.
So it was kind of an accident, right?
Yeah, so I tried it about 2003 out in Turkey, but I was playing football, so it was one of those things that it was either give up football and scuba dive, or don't scuba dive and carry on playing football. And I carried on playing football till I was about 18 and then went into refereeing. So that was the choice I made. And I don't think I look back and say it was the wrong choice.
Okay.
So
when was the point when you decided to take it seriously, like professionally?
The army were short of a few instructors, so I got an email saying you've got the right prerequisites. Do you want to go on your instructor course? And from there, it was just, yeah, why not? I'll do my instructor course. And then taught a few people out in Cyprus, taught on an expedition out in Cyprus, moved back to the UK and just carried on. And it was only when I left the army in 2022 that I transferred my skills to another agency. And yeah, the rest is history.
Wow. So it was an army course.
Yes. So the army teaches BSAC, which is the British Sub-Aqua Club. So the army use it as sport. Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, they all get the chance to do adventurous training. And BSAC qualifications are there. They're big in the UK, and because being the British military, that's what they use.
So you've been in the army for a long time?
And just over 12 and a half years.
12 years, okay.
So
it's quite long, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a long time. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time. Wouldn't change it. Do it all again.
Okay. And then you decided to quit and start diving professionally?
Kind of. Left, got married, moved to Greece. And it was whilst in Greece that I was trying to get a job in the diving industry and happened to stumble upon a job with a company called Master Liverboards, who were looking for a cruise director out in a place called Truck Lagoon, on their boat that operates there for 6 months and then goes to Bikini Atoll for 6 months. So I put my name forward, and lo and behold, I got the job. And just after Christmas, I was on a plane to the other side of the world.
Wow.
Again, it's a dream destination for people to go to. And I'm very fortunate to have been there for 3 to 4 months, just taking people diving and making their once in a lifetime trip the best thing that we could make.
Absolutely. So when you got that job, you were a beginner, right?
So I was a dive professional and a technical diver. So I was diving what we call a closed circuit rebreather, which recirculates your gas. So I was diving that and guiding people around these 80-year-old wrecks, going inside the wrecks, into the engine rooms.
Inside the wrecks?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it dangerous?
It can be. It can be dangerous. That's why you need to have the correct training to be able to do this kind of diving. Not everyone is qualified to go into engine rooms and go into overhead environments. So we call them overhead environments because there is no direct access to the surface.
Okay.
So
it's like a cave, right? You go underneath something.
Almost. So you'll find a little opening and you'll go inside. And what we're trained to do is to lay a line. So in the event that the visibility gets reduced, we can still find our way out.
Oh, okay.
So
like in the fairy tale, you need to lay a line.
Yeah.
To
So
find
a bit
your
like
way back.
yeah. So a bit like leaving breadcrumbs.
Okay. Is it beautiful?
Yes. There are some beautiful wrecks out there. The UK has nearly 4,000 wrecks in the waters around the country. There are wrecks all over the world. Some not as nice as others, but yeah, there's some really nice wrecks around.
How old are they?
The oldest I've dived is nearly 3,000 years old.
3,000?
Yes.
Oh my God.
In Greece, they've got some wrecks where there's not much of the wood left. It's more the amphora. But yeah, it's laid out in the shape of a ship.
Wonderful. So what are your favorite destinations then? You mentioned Pacifics, Greece, UK.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I've dived in many places around the world. I don't think there is one specific favorite. They all hold something special for me to want to go back. Cyprus, for example, has one of the best wrecks in the world to dive called the Zenobia. It's been in the top 10 wreck dives for God knows how long. So that's a favorite place. That's where I learned to dive. The UK has some great wrecks. Up in Scapa Flow, we have the German High Seas Fleet that surrendered in World War One, and then the Admiral decided to scuttle them. So they're all in sort of 45 meters of water.
45 meters deep.
Yeah. You go off to Bikini Atoll. It's where the Americans did the nuclear testing after World War II. There's about 9 wrecks left, one of which is an 888-foot aircraft carrier.
Oh my God.
That sits perfectly upright.
Upright, like?
Perfectly upright, the flight deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the flight, it's around 30, 35 meters to the flight deck, and the bottom's around 51 to 57 in places. So, yeah, there's different places to go, different
so you can
things to
actually
do.
go inside and find like fork and knife and plates and all these things.
Yeah, so the scullery still has all the plates inside. Yeah. There's even a hot water tank in one of the sculleries.
Piano.
Not a piano. We did find an old rifle. We found a Japanese rifle as well on one of the Japanese wrecks that's there. We found all sorts of things.
But I guess you can't bring them back.
No, we leave them there. We leave them where they are so other divers can go and enjoy them in the future. So,
do you take pictures?
Take lots of pictures. I think in the 8 months I was in the Pacific, I took around 15,000 photos.
Oh, okay.
So quite a few.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
So you have an underwater camera?
Yeah, so I use an Olympus TG6. So it's only a very small camera, but in its underwater housing, it's good down to about 60 meters. And then we use some very powerful video lights, or you can get strobes. Depends what you're shooting.
Wow.
So yeah,
because it's very dark.
It's not so much that it's dark. In the tropics or in the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, you get clear blue water, but in the UK, it can get quite dark. But also colour fades the deeper you go.
Oh.
So think about a rainbow. So Richard of York gave battle in vain. The colours disappear in the same order. And it starts from about 5 meters. Red starts to disappear.
Oh.
And blue's the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty much the same order.
How are these places different? So like what's the difference between, for example, diving in the Pacific and diving in the UK?
The UK is a little bit colder. We have tidal seas. So we have to speak with the skipper and figure out which is the best tide to dive which wreck. There's a lot of good dive boats on the south coast where the skipper will plan a year ahead which dives they can do on which days. So we need to dive in things like dry suits because it's a little bit colder here. We obviously have less visibility, although there are some occasions where the visibility can be incredible in the UK. But then you go over to places like the Red Sea, Egypt, or over to the Pacific, and you're looking at 25 plus degree water, clear blue.
Wow.
Lots of coral, lots of marine life, sharks. We get lots of marine life here in the UK, but it's obviously different to tropical marine life.
Mm-hmm. Corals, fish, lots of fish.
Yeah, lots of fish. Signs of a healthy reef are that there's sharks. So if you see a shark on a reef, it's good because they've got food source. They keep everything else in check. So yeah,
I heard so many things about sharks. Like sharks are dangerous, and the other side is like sharks are not dangerous at all. So what's the truth?
Sharks are not dangerous. There are over 400 species of shark, and only 4 are actively known to attack humans. So I'd take 1%.
The big white?
Great white, tiger, bull, and oceanic whitetip.
They can attack you.
They are the only ones that are known to attack.
Okay.
But
If you're bleeding or something.
Not so much if you're bleeding. I mean, they're inquisitive.
Oh.
We're in their environment. We shouldn't be there. That we were not meant to be underwater.
Yeah.
So they're inquisitive, whereas we've got our hands to feel. So I can feel, this is a bottle of water or it's a bottle of something.
Yeah.
Sharks don't have that. So the way they figure things out is they bite it.
Oh.
So they bite a diver in a wetsuit and go, that's not a seal.
That's
So, and they instantly spit it out. So,
Oh.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a mistaken identity most of the time.
Did you have any such experiences?
I haven't been bitten by a shark. I've been very close to some sharks. One dive we were on in Bikini Atoll, we caught the tide right. So there was a slight tidal movement, and the sharks were using the wreck as what we call a cleaning station. So you get little cleaner fish, and the sharks were coming in and basically lining up to come in, have the cleaner fish, look after them, and then they'd go off and the next one would come in. And there must have been 12, 15 sharks
Wow.
just hovering around. And me and the diver, we just sat there watching these sharks. They weren't interested in us. They weren't bothered by us.
Did you have any dangerous experience?
There's been a couple of occasions where we've been inside wrecks and we've had what we call zero visibility incidents. But because of the training.
What does that mean?
So it means that the silt or something inside has stirred up the sediment, whether it's rust or silt. So silt can be a combination of rust, sand, dirt.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where your training comes in. Because we line in to wrecks and we lay lines, it means we were able to get out and get out safely.
You don't know where to go, right?
If you can't see where you're going, it makes it a little bit difficult to get out.
How does a usual day look like for you? For example, if you dive in the Pacific or dive in the UK?
If I'm in the UK and I'm teaching a course, for example, it would mean sort of a 7 a.m. leave the house to get up to the dive site. When we get to the dive site, we brief the students on using a big map of where we're going to go on the dive, how we're going to conduct ourselves on the dive, how long the dive will be. From there, we'll then go and get our kit sorted. So building all the kit, making sure we've got adequate gas for the dive, knowing what breathing gas we actually have for the dive. So analyzing the cylinders, and then writing down how much gas we've got, each diver's got, then doing a buddy check, making our way down to the water's edge, and off we go. We'll see you in about 45 minutes.
Off you go.
And
like you jump?
Yeah, so we call it a giant stride, and it's just a big step off the edge of the quayside into the water.
Is it intimidating?
I
mean, for the first time.
It can be for the first time. We do get some people that sort of stand on the edge and
for how long? For an hour?
We've had not quite that long. We've had a few minutes, and you have to give them encouragement. Makes it worse when they look down. So imagine being stood on a tall building. They've got a glass floor, and you look down. Most people freeze, and when you look down and you can see the bottom.
Ooh, it's so clean.
When it's clear. So when it's cold, it's clear. When the sun comes out, the plankton starts to bloom and it reduces the visibility. But yeah, that's why we tell our divers, look to the horizon when they take that giant stride, so they don't look down.
So you jump, you're in the water.
Yep.
And then you start to sink, or what happens then?
So the buoyancy devices we use, we deflate those, so that allows us to start to sink, and then we use those to compensate for our buoyancy throughout the dive. And we can, depending on what we're doing, depends on what depth we go to, depends on how long we're diving for. A day on the boat that I worked on in the Pacific, it would be sort of a 5 a.m. start for me as a cruise director. make sure my kit was all ready before the guests get up.
Yeah.
So building my kit and equipment, making sure I've got the right gases for the dive that we're doing, in my head planning the routes. So we used to, on some of the bigger wrecks, we used to divide it up into sections and give people certain sections to go to for their dive.
Individually?
In a team. So there wasn't much overlap then. So you got to see the wreck rather than seeing someone else kick up the rust.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then breakfast would be around 6:30. Dive briefing at 7. First dive is in the water 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we do 2 hours in the water.
Why is it so early?
Because of the type of diving we were doing, technical diving, we were doing 2-hour dives. So we were doing what we call decompression. So recreational divers have to stay within their no decompression limits. So that means they do their dive, they come up to 6 meters, do a safety stop, and then they can get out of the water. With technical diving, we're going beyond the no decompression limit. So we are doing mandatory decompression. So we then have to ascend slowly and conduct various stops on our ascent to the surface. So we were doing sort of 70, 80 minutes of diving and then about 40 minutes of decompression.
Decompression. Could you explain this decompression thing?
So our bodies take on the surface, we breathe 21% oxygen, 79% nitrogen. Under pressure, those increase. So if we think of air as being one whole, and we break that down, oxygen is 0.21 and nitrogen is 0.79. Okay. So that makes 100.
Yeah,
it makes a whole. So we're at 1 bar of pressure. Everything's nice in equilibrium. So nitrogen comes into our body, nitrogen goes out of our body. There's no difference. When we start to descend down in diving, for every 10 meters we go down, the atmosphere increases by 1 bar of pressure.
Yeah.
So what was 0.21 on the surface and 0.79 is now doubled.
Okay.
And then you go to 20 meters, it's times by 3. 30 meters times by 4, 40 meters times by 5, and on and on. So we're taking on lots and lots more nitrogen. So this is what determines our no decompression limit. Once we get to the point where our body has taken on too much nitrogen, it then becomes we exceed. Yeah, we're saturated. So we exceed our no decompression limits. So we then have to conduct mandatory stops to allow our body's time to get rid of that excess nitrogen before we can ascend.
Get rid by breathing, basically, right?
Yeah, so we breathe. There's different ways. So if you're diving what we call open circuit, where you breathe in and you blow bubbles, we can do what we call accelerated decompression, which is where we'll use high percentages of oxygen to off gas quicker. So we would start on something like a 50% oxygen, which we can breathe around 21 meters. We would then breathe that. So we're breathing in 50% oxygen rather than 21. And that will help get rid of the nitrogen.
Kind of washes out nitrogen.
Yeah. And then when we move up to 10 meters, we can then go on to an 80% mix. And then at 6 meters, we can use 100% oxygen. So there's no nitrogen going in. It's just oxygen.
Fascinating. Do you feel the difference?
You feel a lot
cognitively?
Better. You feel better after having pure oxygen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It does make you feel good. If we're diving a closed circuit rebreather, which recirculates your gas, that is constantly adjusting the mixture that you're breathing depending on where you are in the water table. So if you're at 21 meters, you'll get a different mix to if you're at 10 meters. So it's constantly analyzing what you're breathing and then changing and making slight adjustments.
It's quite a technical job, isn't it?
It can be.
I can imagine diving like it's the coolest thing. Like when I called you up and you said, "Oh, I'm a professional diver," I was like, "Wow, okay, that's the coolest thing I heard." And now, as you talk about it, it's kind of like you need to be precise. You need to be, you need to keep safety in mind. You need to be very technical minded.
You have to have a basic knowledge, but it comes with years of training and years of diving. You can go and do a recreational course, and then it's a lot simpler. You still have to have a knowledge of your no decompression limits, planning a dive, how much gas are you consuming. But once you get into the technical diving, that's when you need to, it's more checks of gases, checking your computers, planning your dives properly, not only planning the dive, well, what happens if I stay a little bit longer and go just a little bit deeper?
Oh,
How much more gas do I need? How is that going to change my dive plan? And then what happens if this cylinder of gas that I'm going to use
you just lose it.
to accelerate my decompression to get out of the water, what happens if I lose it?
Ooh.
So we have to go through all these different stages
Okay.
of planning of what happens, what if.
Did it happen to you?
I've not had a complete gas loss. I've had a partial gas loss, and there's been a couple of occasions where I've had to bail out on the rebreather, so come off the closed circuit and use my backup cylinders. But yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
So you mentioned recreational diving and technical diving. What's is it like an order? Like somebody needs to try recreational diving first?
Recreational diving is where everyone starts. You can then build up your diving knowledge by completing certain courses in order to help you get ready for technical diving. Once you've decided that you want to go down the technical route, then we can help you get to that point with getting extra dives in, making sure your knowledge is ready for the course that you want to do. It is a big jump from recreational diving to technical diving. That's why we do it in small stages. That's why we don't let someone that does 18 meters open water go and do 10 dives and then go straight to 100 meters. So
could you just briefly walk me through these stages? For example, if somebody's listening and might want to start diving.
The first thing to do would probably be a try scuba diving. This is where we talk you through the kit and equipment. We build it in front of you. We explain what everything does. We then get you in the water so you can experience being underwater for the first time. From there, we can then move on to the open water course. So this is a worldwide recognized qualification that will allow you to dive with a buddy anywhere in the world up to 18 meters in depth. From there, then it's advanced open water, dive guide, then it's on to instructor if you want to go down that road. Once you get to around the advanced open water level, that opens up a majority of courses. So that's where people can then move from recreational diving to technical diving.
What is the most desirable for people based on your experience?
It depends. People get into diving for a variety of reasons. Some for photo and video, some just because they've seen it on Instagram and they want to give it a go, some because it's on their bucket list, one thing to try. For others, it could be a job. There's a whole host of reasons. For me, it's going back in time. So I prefer to dive shipwrecks. So for me, it's going and seeing what ships were like 80, 90, 100 years ago, even longer in some cases. It's a time machine for me.
Exploring.
Yeah.
So that's the major thing that drives you.
Yeah, I think I'd say so. Exploration, because every dive has to be planned. You can't just wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to go and dive a 100-meter wreck today. It takes planning, it takes time. So we have to think about where we're going to go, think about what we're going to do, and plan ahead.
Is it addictive?
Very, very addictive. It also gets very expensive at times. The kit and equipment isn't cheap. It's a sport like any other. We're going to a place that we shouldn't really be in. So we need to have... We weren't made to be underwater. We're supposed to stay on the land, so we need to have good kit and equipment to aid us in going scuba diving.
What's the pinnacle of diving places?
For a lot of people, it's a wreck called the Britannic. It's the sister ship of the Titanic.
Wow.
It's in 85 to about 115 meters of water. It was requisitioned in World War One as a hospital ship, and it hit a mine just off the coast of Kia. And that's where it now lays. And that's kind of seen as the Everest of diving.
How is it? Have you been there before?
I haven't. We are looking at an expedition in around 2027 to 2028.
Do you need to be a technical diver?
Definitely need to be a technical diver for that one. It's 85 meters to the top and 115 meters to the bottom.
115 deep.
Yes.
Oh my God. Is there any visibility?
Yeah, it's crystal clear.
Wow.
Crystal clear blue water. Because it's the Mediterranean, it's got very good visibility. There are occasions when that visibility gets stirred up by the currents, but most of the time it's good.
Okay. And in the UK, what's the best place?
The Scapa Flow is pretty cool if you like wrecks. Obviously, it's got the old German fleet in. If you want to dive with seals, you can go to the Farne Islands.
Oh, okay.
The South Coast has varying wrecks to dive, from merchant trade ships to wacky submarines. There's a submarine called the M1, the M2, that had a seaplane hangar on the bow. So they used to launch a seaplane from a submarine.
Oh, from a submarine?
From the submarine.
Okay.
So they used to surface, launch this aeroplane as reconnaissance. Yeah. And that's now a wreck.
That's quite clever.
Yeah. It didn't last that long. Someone forgot to close the doors and it sank. But yeah, it's a very, very clever idea.
Anything in Scotland?
Yeah, so Scapa Flow's in Scotland. There's also a place called the Sound of Mull, which is very good for diving. Has fair few wrecks to go diving and some nice what we call wall dives, which is where the bottom of the dive is deeper, and it's almost like a big cliff with all the marine life along the side.
Wow, that can be beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. Talking about the UK, you have a diving course in Bedford. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we run our courses normally starting off in Robinson Pool. We run the sessions on a Tuesday evening. From there, we'd then go to an inland dive site and complete what we call the open water dives. So we normally do 3 pool sessions followed by 2 days at the open water site. And then you're qualified to go diving anywhere in the world.
Wow, so it's quite short, isn't it?
It can be. We do 90 minutes in our pool sessions. So we get 4.5 hours in the pool before we take anyone to open water. We then do 2 to 3 dives per day at the open water site. So you get a lot of time in the water to get comfortable and get confident. There's also some skills to do. Yeah.
It's quite a
lot.
lot.
You get quite a long time in the water.
Okay. And it's enough for you to be confident in your abilities?
Yeah. We don't, if you're not quite confident, we won't let you finish the course, and we'll do some extra training with you.
Who is it recommended for? Is there any kind of like personality type that's kind of very attracted to diving?
And how diving's for everyone. It really is. You can start from the age of 10, and you can dive until the doctor basically says you can't dive anymore.
Oh, so there's no age limit?
There's no age limit. There's
95?
only an age limit. We had a friend, he was a World War II veteran. He dived until he was 97.
97?
Yeah.
How deep?
He used to do a dive every year for his birthday. He was the world's oldest diver for a while in the Guinness Book of Records. And we used to do a 42-meter wreck for his birthday. Yeah.
Okay. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. What do people need to do to sign up for your courses?
They can find us on social media or on our website, or send me a WhatsApp. The phone's answered 90% of the day.
Okay.
Unless we're diving, then you won't get an answer straight away.
Yeah.
But yeah, all they've got to do is go online, find us, message us by whatever means they want, and we'll invite them down to the pool so they can see everything in action beforehand, and then help them make their decision whether they want to start diving or not.
It's a really intense course, is it?
It doesn't have to be. It's about having fun and being confident. You've got to understand what you're doing and what's going on, but it doesn't have to be hard.
So it's more fun.
You've got to make it fun. If you don't make it fun, people don't want to do it.
Yeah. And then what's the next steps for them? Book a plane ticket and just go to the Pacifics?
They can go to most places. You can go on the internet and find varying locations around the world to go diving. Most dive centers in far-flung places will say how many dives they need someone to have to go on certain dives. So there'll be certain restrictions depending on the depth or the sea conditions. If it's somewhere that might have currents, then they might ask for say 50 dives before someone's allowed to go and dive that site. But they can jump on dives here in the UK to get their experience up, go down to the South Coast, go and do inland diving and get their skill knowledge up in preparation for wherever they want to go.
If you could have a single message about why people should start diving, what would be the number one reason?
It's a good question. It's where we came from. We're going back to where we came from, effectively. People find that they feel most at home in the water. So why not give it a go? Experience breathing underwater. Or if you don't want to carry the kit and equipment, try freediving. Freediving is a whole new element.
Freediving. You need to have pretty powerful lungs.
No.
No?
I was skeptical about freediving, but I was told, go on my instructor course, do it, try it. And it was one of the best things I did.
Wow.
You don't have to have big lung capacity. It's all about technique. We teach you breathing techniques in order to conduct breath holds for longer. If you're a snorkeler and you enjoy snorkeling on the surface, that's great. We have a course for snorkeling. If you are a snorkeler that enjoys duck diving, we recommend you go on the freediving course because it will teach you more techniques to enable your duck diving for longer, so you can enjoy being under the water for longer.
It's even more powerful without equipment, right? You mentioned that's where we came from, and then when you just go underwater, you kind of experience the power of nature.
Yeah, it's peaceful. You don't have phones. You don't have emails to answer. You don't have people calling you up. There's no traffic. It's
yeah, there's no traffic.
It's peaceful, and if you're doing it with scuba kit on, then you can stay down there for longer. But if you're free diving, it's that 2-3 minutes of immersion, and everything else doesn't matter. It's that time under the water, regardless of whether it's free diving, scuba diving. Time seems to fly when you're underwater, but it's some of the best 45 minutes you'll get.
Complete freedom.
Yes.
You can go up and down,
yeah,
left or right.
Yeah. It's a 360-degree environment.
Thank you. So you are on Instagram, you have a website, right?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Facebook. We're launching a TikTok, and we have a website, and then we have a physical location in Kempston as well.
Cool. And you are Dive with Jimmy.
Dive with Jimmy. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.